While we wait for the viewers to enter the Zoom, I want to remind you that Vote 411 is now available. Vote 411 can provide you with information about the candidates you will be voting for and has a printout feature so you can print out your choices and take it with you to the polls. And now for tonight's forum. Good evening. I am Anitra Steele, Chair of the Forums Committee. Welcome to our forum for the Hickman Mills School District. This forum is sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Kansas City, Jackson, Clay, and Platte counties, the South Kansas City Alliance, and Alpha Kappa Alpha Advocate for Social Justice Initiative of chapters Beta Omega and Xi Tau Omega. This forum will be recorded and is available on the League's webpage, lwvkc.org, and on YouTube. The League of Women Voters is a trusted grassroots, nonpartisan organization whose members do the hands-on work to safeguard democracy. While we neither endorse nor oppose candidates or political parties, we are directly involved with sharing the important issues. Our mission is to empower voters and to defend our democracy. We envision a democracy where every citizen has the knowledge, the right, the desire, and the confidence to participate. Our membership is open to everyone. I'd like you to know the other League members volunteering with me. Cindy Smith is our timekeeper, and our Zoom is monitored by David Mountjoy. The public has sent in the questions via the League's website, lwvkc.org. Tonight, we welcome our moderator, League member, and former President Sandy Eads.
Anitra, thank you. I'm delighted to join you for the Candidates Forum for the Hickman Mills Board of Education. Tonight, we'll hear from the candidates running for the opportunity to represent their community. Responsibilities of board members include crafting the overall educational vision of the district's public schools, from setting a school's curriculum to creating and upholding board policy, to electing school officials and overseeing administrators. They serve a 3-year term and is a volunteer position. Forums last about 90 minutes, and I'll ask each candidate the same questions selected from those submitted by the public. The order of candidate responses has been determined by random rotation. Each candidate will be given 90 seconds to respond to each question and 2 minutes for a closing statement. All of the candidates running for the school board have been invited and agreed to attend. We welcome the candidates participating in tonight's forum. And candidates, please answer the question asked, stick to the topic. We won't have time for rebuttals, but you may go back to an issue if you feel you need to during your 2-minute closing remarks. So let us begin. And the first question starts with Beth Berger. Please introduce yourself. Tell us why you want to serve on the Hickman Mills Board of Education and what qualifies you to serve.
Good evening. My name is Beth Berger, and I've lived in Hickman Mills since 1973. I have 2 daughters that went through the Hickman Mills School District, and my youngest daughter taught at Ruskin for 5 years. I am qualified to run for school board because I have 12 years at Grandview School District at Board of Ed in the Finance Department and 10 years in the Kansas City, Missouri School District as a local school bookkeeper out in the buildings. And what was the other part? Let's see. Oh, and I also have an associate's degree, advanced accounting classes at Rockhurst University, and I took school finance at UMKC.
Thanks very much. Vanessa, same question to you.
I'm Vanessa Claiborne. I believe the reason I'm running for school board is that I want to put the children and the teachers and the accreditation of the school district first. I want our taxpayers' dollars, to be transparent. And my qualifications are that I have been a member of the community. I've lived in the same house for 45 years, and my children have gone to Hickman Mill, Truman, Urban, and Hickman Mills, and they've graduated from there. And I now have a granddaughter who is in the Hickman Mills School District.
Thanks very much. Tremise, I'm sorry. You're next.
My name is Tremise. I served on the board in 2019 for 3 years on the school board. I also have a son here in the district who started off in pre-K, and he's actually in the 8th grade this year. He'll be a freshman in high school. So he's been here in the district. This is the only school district he ever attended. So he's been here since he was a toddler. I lived here in Hickman Mills for 14 years, currently bought my house here in Hickman Mills 3 years ago. And so I'm just that neighborhood mother that all the kids come over and play after school. We feed the kids. I know all the parents, the children, and nothing more than having a community that you can call home and call everyone family. So I have a previous background of our community serving, helping, and being on the school board. So that's what I believe makes me qualified, is just having that background experience of this community.
Thanks very much. Clifford, you're the next one.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for this day to invited all of us for your forum today. My name is Clifford Reagan. I am a single parent, as I stated before. I'm a single parent of 4 men. I have had 3 gentlemen to graduate from the Hickman Mills School District and 1 from the Kansas City, Missouri School District. I'm also a former board member. I served as a director for 2 years and vice president of the Board of Education of Hickman for 1 year. I also was the chairman of the finance committee when we had little committees that the board had assigned to people into the community. The qualifications that I also have, also majored in criminal justice, and I've had my minor in education. I would like to see more things in I'm tired of seeing Hickman Mills School District with the bad reputation that it has. I want to build more community relationships with our community, because without the community, we're not able to pass any bonds. And the way the community has been treated in the past 4 or 5 years is not acceptable, and it shouldn't be acceptable. And with me on the board, I will make sure that I will be an advocate for the students, the teachers, and the community that we serve.
Thank you very much. The next question, and we're going to start this one with number 2. It's Beth. Because we're missing Miss Murphy, the order is going to be a little messed up because of her in the sheet we've got here. But Beth, go ahead. Let's start with you on number 2. What one issue currently facing the schools would you most like to address as a school board member?
Oh gosh, there's so many, but the one that interests me the most, really, and Clifford just touched on it, is community engagement. I've been working with the Ruskin Heights Homes Association and on the school board, trying to get more people that live in our community active in our community, so that neighbors know neighbors. And my neighborhood is 68% rental. So I'm really happy that Ingalls Elementary is year-round school, because we have kids coming and going all the time. So that has really helped solve a concern for me, because I was concerned about the kids because of the high mobility rate. So that's kind of been taken care of, because we meet them when they come in the district. But also the Real World Learning Center, to get the kids to learn about job opportunities and trades. But really, I'm off track. The most important thing, I think, to me is community engagement and getting the district and the community to work together. And I'm leading a community engagement committee right now in the district. We started in January, and we have representatives from the schools.
Thanks very much. Clifford, you want to pick this one up? Most important issue for you?
Yes, sir. The most important issue right now is the money that has been spent. A lot of money, as you've seen, that Hickman Mills School District has been on the news, and that is very bad. We have not only what money missing, we have no accreditation. The first thing I would like to do is that money that was follow the money. And what I mean by follow the money, you have to go through a audit, and I see that the auditors, Missouri, will be coming. But that would be the first issue that I would like to see. That money that has been spent and not accounted for could have went to programs that could have helped our students with reading, writing, and arithmetic. A lot of people don't know our students right now are on the third grade level when it comes to the Missouri House. They're reading and they're writing. So therefore, how can you take a test, as I've always said, if you cannot understand the root words and that is not being taught? And money that has been missing and not being able to be accounted for, that is something that the board is supposed to always take care of. They have to be good stewards of the money. And right now, the stewardship of our money in our district is very poor.
Thanks very much. Next up on that question would be Vanessa Liburn.
Well, the most important thing to me is making sure that the children and the teachers have all the tools that they need in order to for us to gain our accreditation back. I went to a parent teachers meeting, and I was waiting outside the room, and while I waited for my turn, I talked to two male teachers that were sitting in the hall at Irvin. And one of the guys was ordering whiteboards from Amazon from his own pocket. And to me, $539 is what it came to. And I just think that's absurd. And like Mr. Reagan said, where's the money going to? And our taxpayer dollars, it should be transparent. And that's one of the reasons what made me say, hey, I'm going to run for school board, because our children deserve accreditation. Our teachers deserve to have what the tools that they need in order for our children to be accredited. Okay.
Thanks very much. The next question, Tremise, this one is for you. And the question is, what types of support should be given to those schools which are struggling with academic performance?
Sandy,
Yes.
I don't think I was able to answer the
she
last.
didn't get the last one.
Yes, I didn't get to answer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Apologize. Go ahead.
One thing I feel the district, we need more community involvement, which I agree with Mrs. Beth. I sit on that board with her. We need more support from parents. That is one thing I know as a parent. I feel we need to break that barrier somewhere with the parents, get them more involved in the students with their children. And I see that there's some parents that just don't understand. They can't help their children if they don't know. So we looked at some things like the Parent Square, which is a great tool, but a lot of parents don't know how to use the Parent Square to engage with teachers, look at homework assignments. So I feel like if we help the parents get more involved with their children, we'll see a lot of progress.
Thanks very much. And I apologize for skipping you there, but you get to stay on for this question anyway.
Okay.
So what types of support should be given to those schools which are struggling with academic performance?
Let's see. I believe with academic support, we would definitely, I see a lot of schools. Some schools have, there's tutoring sessions held after school. Some schools don't have it. And I want to just make this clear as an example. When my son, I seen a school that had different resources like tutoring, mentorships. Then I see other schools that don't have that involvement. So I think that every school should be on the same page when it comes to different things at the school, because we talked about that also. A lot of schools, we don't connect with other schools. We act like we're separate. Instead of each school having different activities, each school should have their same activities and engage with each other and actually help each other hand in hand. That way, everyone's on the same page. No one's doing something different from the other. We work together as a community. We work as one.
Okay, thanks very much. Vanessa, what's your thought on that?
What is the question? I'm sorry.
What types of support should be given to those schools which are struggling with academic performance?
I believe that what we need are, I believe that the entire community has to get involved. There's just no way that if the parents aren't involved, there's no way for the children to actually fill the seats in the schoolroom. We need to know what is important in the communities for our children. The parents need to know, just make your children go to school, fill those seats, and then the teachers can teach them. If they don't have their little selves in their seats, the teachers can't teach them. And I believe also that the parents are going to have to be a little bit more and more involved with the teachers and the children at school. It's not let's send our children to school and the teachers teach. It's send our children to school, the teachers teach, then they go home and the parents teach.
Okay, thanks very much.
You're
Mr. Reagan, Cliff, what do you think?
The things that we need to do to help these other schools, we need to start putting in those programs like after school programs for tutoring. But how can you put in these programs if the money is not being accounted for? That is something that I'm not understanding, and I will not understand until someone can tell me. The boards is supposed to make sure that they know what is going on in and out of the school district. And they need to make anyone who is accounted for, make everyone accounted for everything that is going on. With all this money that has been moving, so you're not going to be able to have these programs. So therefore, you cannot help a school if you can't. First of all, you can't take care of your own budget that you have right now. But the things that you should do is you should make sure that we implement more after-school programs for tutoring for students that are low in math, where they might be in reading, or whatever they might need. We need to meet the needs of them, but you got to put those programs, and you might have to bring back the grandparents for tutoring because sometimes students don't work well with their parents. But I do know that the grandparents are a big factor to a lot of students, and so therefore implementing those type of programs would help shape well-rounded in our district.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Beth,
sir.
we're going to get to close this one out.
Okay. All right. For support, I would say when I was working at the Kansas City School District out in the buildings, one of the things that I noticed, teachers were buying items themselves, but they didn't have to. They didn't come to me and say, is there money in the budget to buy this or to buy that? But I'd catch them in the hallway talking about what they bought, but I think that there's a lack of communication between, the principal and the staff about what the budget is and how to go about purchasing, so I think that would be one good way of support that we could remedy that. And then also reading interventionists, math interventionists in all the schools, counselors in all the schools. That's the kind of support that our students need and that they're getting. And I agree with the after school tutoring or even before school tutoring at some of the late starts instead of after school. But a problem with that is transportation. So you definitely have to get support there, and basically just make sure those kids are at school, support the parents and helping get their kids to school because that's where they're going to learn.
Thank you. Vanessa, the next question is very timely. Currently, the Federal Department of Education is being downsized and may be eliminated. What effect would that have on Hickman Mills schools?
Well, Hickman Mills Schools is already in trouble, so as far as I'm concerned, due to the fact that our dollars and cents are not accounted for, not totally. And I believe that it's going to affect the teachers, it's going to affect the counselors, it's going to affect the schools in general. I mean, the children, transportation, I can't think of anything that it will not touch, including security. So I think that is a big mistake of eliminating the Department of Education. There's no way that our educational system can thrive without it.
Thank you. Clifford, what do you think about the current status of the Department of Education at the federal level?
Well, right now, I do know that the vote, I know that it needs 66 votes in order to dismantle it. I don't see that even being I don't see that happening because I'm very optimistic with that part. But when it comes to our district right now, it would wipe out our district right now. Right now, we have no accreditation. We have no accountability with our budget. So therefore, you're not, and we're losing students at a high risk. And so without accreditation, without money, you're going to end up folding. I want to thank the Missouri Department of Education for grace and mercy upon our district, because right now they could have taken it over. But I do, if they are out there listening, I do thank them for the grace and mercy that they have done. I know that they have been talked about in a bad way, but they still have allowed us to stand in the Hickman Mills School District. So I want to thank them first of all. But if it does happen, it would wipe us out. But hopefully, with that, I'm quite sure that the Board of Education, along with the superintendent, has a plan just in case. And I'm hoping that they all come together. As you know, when they vote as one, even though some of them might not agree or disagree, but they vote as one. But so that's how I would look at that.
Thanks very much. Beth, what do you think the action at the federal level, even though today it was, I think, an executive order, where do you think this is headed? How would it affect Hickman Mills?
Well, it really scares me. And I really worry about the Title I program, even though today I heard President Trump saying, oh no, that'll go to another agency and it'll be handled very well. That agency will take care of it, blah, blah, blah. But that is very worrisome. If we lose that Title I money, we will not be able to feed our children, because that's where we're a Title I district, that we use that money to feed breakfast and lunch, so we'll have to start charging for meals again, which will make a hardship on our community. And that really bothers me. And I just don't know how people can do that without feeling bad or guilty about it. And that is my primary concern.
Thanks.
Oh, wait, and I got a couple more minutes. And also the Title I money helps with our special education program, and that would suffer as well.
Okay. Trinice, you get to wrap us up on this one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I want to support Ms. Beth on that Title I money. I really feel that it will affect our community as a whole, our whole district as a whole. When we talk about free and reduced lunches, also special educations program, that really hits home for me. And I feel like our children are so behind now, and it's so very hard to get that type of assistance, get help with getting an IEP for your child. And so with that cut, just imagine how many kids are going to be hurt and suffer when they can't get those special assistance that they need and get the help they need. So I really hope that does not happen, and I pray about that. So that's how I feel, sir.
Thank you. Next up, Beth, the question becomes around House Bill HB 711. Of course, the House has passed that to allow open enrollment for resident students of a public school district to become a student of another school district that accepts non-resident students. How would that affect your district and why?
I was actually just at Jeff City to lobby against that bill. I feel like School choice is not the answer. I feel like it's just a gateway to, giving money to private schools and charter schools. It's just opening the door, because they're saying school choice is good for our students. But what I firmly believe is that public schools are good for our students and our communities. Public schools educate everyone, not just the cream of the crop. And that is what happens. When I worked at Kansas City, Missouri School District, parents would put their kids in charter schools, and before you know it, they would be expelled or disciplined, and then they would be back in the Kansas City school because the charter school could kick them out. And I do not want to see that happen to Hickman Mills students. I want Hickman Mills students to be able to stay in their community. And I don't want other schools to take our athletes. They say, oh no, we have a provision for that. But, we know that's going to happen. They can take the athletes to their districts and have, the better football teams and basketball teams. And, I don't think that's right either.
Okay, thanks very much. Vanessa, what's your thoughts on House Bill 711 and open enrollment?
Well, I think open enrollment is a terrible idea. I really do. The sole purpose of parents searching school districts and determining where they're going to live is why they buy houses where they buy the house. And that's why I bought my house where I bought my house. And I just do not feel as though other schools, other districts should be able to just come to Hickman Mills District and just because, go from school to school just because they want to. That's the sole purpose. And plus, we would have the rooms are jam-packed now for the teachers. There are too many students in the rooms as it is. And the budget just really can't hold any more children. We have enough. And as Mr. Reagan was saying, when it comes to dollars and cents, we really cannot afford this.
Thanks very much. Framise, your thoughts?
Well, I'm sorry. My thoughts are a little bit different from everyone else's. I think open enrollment, and I've been saying this for years, I'm okay with it. And the reason I say I'm okay with it, because there's sometimes you got to look at it as a parent. And if your child is not getting the help they need, if you're struggling for years and you see an opportunity to go somewhere else, then that's what you have to look at as a parent. What's best for your child? And not saying that Hickman Mills is the worst district, because we're not. We don't get enough credit. But if you try taking your child from Hickman Mills District and going to another district, they turn their nose up and say no. But our thing is worried about other children coming to our district and it being overcrowded. I believe that's an opportunity for us, because if we're doing everything we need here in Hickman Mills and we're making the standards, everything, parents are not going to leave here. Parents, if they see us doing great and doing great things here in this district, parents are going to stay here. More people, they're not going to leave this district. And I see a lot of people thinking that parents are going to leave. This community is a small community. Parents like how things are going now. So I really feel open enrollment is not going to change anything for us.
Thanks very much. I want to welcome Teresa Murphy. She has joined us a little bit late, but Teresa, I want to get you in on the questions here. Were you able to hear the question I posed to the candidates up to this point, or should I repeat it? Teresa? I am not seeing her. She was here a minute ago. She'll probably be back and we can return to her on that one. For now, Clifford, let's go ahead with you and talk about this open enrollment question.
I understand why the House has submitted that. When you have a school district like ours who has been without accreditation without about 20 years now, that says a lot. To me, it sounds like we don't have the right people in the right places. So I see why they have said that. What would it do? It would kill the Hickman Mill School District. But as Mrs. Carter stated, as a parent, you have to look what is best for your student. Even though you might move away, sometimes your child is looked up on. And it is not fair. But as Mrs. Berger stated also, if you are an athlete, that's where you will see that you will shine. But as far as that House bill, if it does pass, it would drain. It would drain because what they want you to do is they want to make you pay for the students' education at their school. So therefore, that would take money out of your pockets. So that therefore, that money would be going to them. It's kind of like even with the charter schools. So everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie now. But the thing is that we as the Hickman Mills School District, we have stand firm throughout the years. We're gonna keep on standing firm. We're gonna get the best board members on there like myself so that therefore we can do the things that we need to do to move this district within to where it needs to be.
Thanks very much.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Murphy, I see you may have rejoined us here. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you. And Dave, I'm going to have to leave this with you in terms of making sure Ms. Murphy can hear and see us. While we work on that, let's move on to the next question. Beth, you're up on this. Have you examined the MSIP and district report card information reported by DESE? If so, did you learn anything that surprised you? Did you believe that feedback from the MSIP has any value for the district?
Yes, I examined it. What I feel, we are using the iReady in Hickman Mills School District. So about every 6 weeks, we are getting reports on the students on their reading and math levels. And we are seeing big gains on the iReady test. And even their DESE and the State Board of Education are looking at alternative ways of measuring student achievement other than MAP, the state test, and maybe more looking at things like iReady. Because once you take the MAP, the school year is over and it's a little late to do anything about a particular student. But the iReady, as you go along, if that student needs help, and you can send them to the reading interventionist or the math interventionist. And the one thing about MSIP that it's just been changing so rapidly over the years, and we were part of a pilot program, but it really didn't help us to be part of the pilot program. It really was to our detriment, because now they want us to wait an extra year, even though we were already part of it. So, it's just, you just have to, it's one of those wait and see things that you just can't really let it, you lose your focus because you're just so crazy about that.
Okay. Clifford, what do you think about this report card and DESE and MSIP?
Well, sitting on the board before, I haven't seen anything change. It looks like everything has been the same. One thing that I do not like to hear is that the relationship with the Missouri Department of Education between Hickman Mills School District has been kind of broken. So therefore, when you break relationships, you could probably have that, you might need that half a point, but just because you have broken that relationship, they're not going to look at you. They're not going to try to help you. So when I started off this, I was talking about relationships, mending them. Uh, the school board, not all school board members, but the school board has broken a lot of relationships out here. So therefore, it's kind of hard to really. People don't look at you like they used to. They look at you in a different way when you break the relationship with them. So therefore, you have to mend those relationships. And then I think after you mend those relationships, you're going to see a lot of things start to to start molding, and you're going to start curving everything to where you're going to be able to get the things that you need. The iReady, yeah, it's good, but why don't we start thinking about just taking the iReady curriculum all together? Leave all that other stuff alone and just buy the whole iReady curriculum. They have, not only do they have math, they have reading, they have writing, they have everything that you need. So I think the iReady curriculum itself needs to be looked at.
Thanks very much. Ms. Murphy, how about now? Are we able to hear you and see you? I see your microphone is muted. Can you hear us?
Her camera is also off.
And maybe her audio level is not up. I'm not sure. We'll try to come back to her in a second. Tremise, you want to pick this one up and talk more about MSIP and DESE?
Yes, sir. I haven't had a chance to review, so I wouldn't be able to give my feedback like I would like to. So I just didn't have the chance to review it.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. All right. Well, let's see here. Ms. Murphy, are you still, I see you on two screens now. We'll keep working on that. And let's move on. The next question then is going to go to Tremi. Hello?
I didn't.
Oh, Vanessa.
It's over. It's fine. It's fine. I pretty much agree with Mr. Reagan on this one. I think that the iReady is one of the best things that we've had in the district. And I feel as though the children have really improved with this. You can see this with the math. Granted that, I realize that our math scores aren't what they should be, but they're getting better. And they will get even, they'll raise up even more with these types of, with the iReady. And I am behind it like 200%.
Right. Thanks very much. Then let's, Tremise, start with you on the next one. What is your stance on standardized testing and its role in education?
I think standardized testing helps us, it shows us where the needs are for our children. With the standardized testing, it kind of break down where we lack at and where the children needs the help to increase. Because I know my son took the standardized testing, and I think it does show where he falls short, where they need help in certain areas, and where we can improve in certain areas. And with our district, I know we fall below in a lot of categories. We do. But with having standardized testing, I really feel like that will help our children and be able to kind of just directly go towards where we fall short and where we need to help in.
Thanks very much. Vanessa, your thoughts on standardized testing?
Well, my thoughts on standardized testing is that it's totally necessary in order for the children, for the staff or the district, in order for them to be able to rank the children, in order for them to place the children, in order for them to know where the children need help. And I keep pounding the drum about accreditation, but I really believe this is how we are going to get our accreditation, is with our funding and with things like standardized testing.
All right. Clifford, your thoughts?
I really do agree with standardized testing. It does show your strengths and weaknesses. What I would like to see the superintendent along with his staff come up with, though, is a follow-up with that. Uh, I know, and I've said it before, I used to attend the private school sector, and what they would do is they would have an interest test. and they would try to find out what your weaknesses, your strength and weaknesses, and that's how that you would go about with the teachers giving you your class. I understand that the classrooms are overcrowded, but with that being stated, we still have to look at our education. We need to somehow. That's why you have to be good stewards of your money. This is where these programs would be coming in. If we would make sure that we're not going on trips and doing the things that we're not supposed to do, that's affecting our students, then maybe we can do the things that maybe we can get back and make Hickman Mills great again. We shouldn't have to look at where is the money coming for the programs. Why should the teachers be buying school supplies? That should be something that is already incorporated in our district. We should all, well, it was when I was on the board, we made sure we watched the money very closely. Tremise also was there. So therefore, we kept a big eye on what was going on. But right now, as far as with the standardized test, I would like to see a follow-up, and not only a follow-up, but we address it and make sure that we meet our students where they're needed.
Thanks very much. So Beth, you get to wrap this one up.
Okay. Well, I kind of already said, I see the iReady as being the ongoing testing throughout the school year, being much more important than the end of the year standardized test. And after working in Kansas City, Missouri for 10 years out in the buildings, that is the reason I have that opinion. The students have very little skin in the game. They can go in and fill in the circles however they want. If they decide they want to fill in all the first circle on every question, they can. You know, it doesn't affect their grade, or anything. It really doesn't impact their life. So they have no skin in the game. But I think iReady, they have a whole different attitude about that. It's more like playing a video game, and they get excited about it. And I think that they're making great progress, and the teachers can see who is progressing and at what level. And when they're not, again, set them up with the reading interventionist or math interventionist or whoever they need, to help them with where they're failing. And I look forward to DESE and the State Board of Education looking at different ways that make it easier to get the students engaged in those kinds of testing.
Great, thank you. Vanessa, the next one for you to begin this new question is, should parents have a role in curriculum decisions? And if they should, what would that look like to you?
Wow, that's a big one.
That's why you're first.
I do believe that parents should have a role in the curriculum decision, because they know where their child is lacking. They know where their child is actually excelling. But
I want to jump in and say, I think the person's reason for asking this question may have been not focusing on the curriculum you have, but saying what you should or shouldn't teach. I think that's more of what the question means.
All right. Well, as far as what we should or shouldn't teach, I do think that the community itself should have a say-so as to what we should or shouldn't teach. Parents should have a say-so, but I think that is why we have and why we trust our school board. That is why we take the time to elect the right members to the school board. That is why it is important to have the correct superintendent. That is why it is so important to have the correct teachers. That is not something that can just be thrown together or just a quick question. That's a tough one there. It really is a tough one.
Yeah, we're really looking for the role of parents here and how they might guide what's taught, I think. Clifford, what do you think in that regard?
Yeah, okay, so give us the whole question over, because you came in.
And the way the question was stated is, what is your stance? I'm sorry, should parents have a role in curriculum decisions? I think that what that means is, should you teach this thing or not teach this thing? And how would that look?
Okay, so I'm looking at the birds and the bees. A lot of people now in this age are against the birds and the bee teaching. Whereas when we were in school, the birds and the bees and all the diseases and everything else was put up in front of us as we were coming up. So I can understand with all the different laws and things that are going on, you have to make sure that you watch that. Uh, Now, as far as being the curriculum, so therefore that's what would have, that's where we would have the parents involved. If we're teaching a curriculum, we need to make sure that we have permission slips of what we're going to do. Back in the day, I don't know if I know some things are still in. I don't know if they're still doing it. And as Mrs. Claiborne said, we have to make sure that we have the right uh, teachers, we have the right board members, the right superintendent, the right everything. Because just don't vote on somebody because of their name. Don't vote on someone just because they've been there and and they think that that's what it is. A lot of times you have a lot of people that can tear down then build up. And what we're trying to do here in the Hickman Mill School District, we want to build up. So therefore, you have to build those relationships. And right now, you don't have to worry about parents coming because there's no relationships with the community. The board X them out.
Okay, thanks very much.
Yes, sir.
Beth, your thoughts?
Okay. I was just sitting here thinking about it, trying to, I know that there are some touchy-feely subjects that some parents, would rather their student, like the birds and the bees, that's one for sure. What is going on for sex education? And I think that there is a system of opting in or opting out in a lot of situations. And I'm for that. And also, as far as picking out what books are used, I know there's curriculum committees that are made up of teachers and paras. And if we get a good parent engagement committee going, parents could be on that committee, so I don't think that parents should be involved as far as every little nitpicky thing, but the big things, I think, like sex education and whatnot, they should have the choice of whether their kid is going to be involved or not.
Okay. Bernice, you get to wrap this one up.
So, as far as curriculum, I think we should leave that up to our superintendent and our educators as what's been taught in our schools, because that's why we have them and that's where the trust comes in. But as far as being a parent, I think our opinion does matter. We should have the opportunity to make suggestions, voice our opinion, and those suggestions and opinions need to be looked at and evaluated because those coming from a parent, we know our children as well. So I think being able to voice our opinion on what we feel needs to change or how we feel the curriculum is being taught, that really matters. As a parent, it makes you feel confident that you have some type of input on your child's education.
Thanks very much. Before we go on to the next question, our tech folks have been working hard to get Teresa Murphy hooked up. She doesn't have Zoom, and bottom line is, I think she's going to have to bow out of this forum, unfortunately. We would like to have heard her voice, but so we won't be looking to see her in the lineup here, so I'll work around that. Beth, we're going to start with you on the next question here, which is, how should the district address concerns about screen time and digital distractions?
Well, unfortunately, a lot of our curriculum is taught on iPads now instead of with the book. Cell phones, and I have to go back to Kansas City. Cell phones are a huge distraction in the classroom. And we bought the Yonder bags at Southeast High School, and all the students had to turn in their phone or put it in the Yonder bag and lock it up, and then they could carry it around. But then they got their earbuds and they got their watches, and it was still connected to their phone that was in the high price Yonder bag. So, it is a huge problem. And I think that schools have to learn to work with it. I mean, if they can look something up on their iPad, why can't they look it up on their telephone? But if they're caught, making phone calls or texting, one teacher, she got brown paper lunch bags. And if they were caught, they had to put their phone in the brown paper lunch bag and set it on their desk because she could hear it if they tried to get in it again, and so I think there's some creative ways, but we're just stuck with technology. I mean, whether you're an employee at a company and you're standing around on your phone all day, or you're working out at the water company and you're on your phone all the day, it's the same thing. We got to figure it out.
Thanks very much. Vanessa, how would you solve this impossible problem?
Well, my background is information technology, and I spent years and years with USDA, um, head of the finance division for the nation. But nevertheless, what I believe when it comes to the screen time that the children are spending, it's not all lost. The iPads, I found that when the school districts brought in the iPads, I thought that was an excellent idea, especially during COVID. Well, COVID's here and gone. And I do not believe that a child needs a telephone in order to learn math, or you really are not learning math. You're actually just copying math. But I do feel as though, see, it's a double-edged sword because like my granddaughter, for instance, saw a little boy out in the hall at the urban, what used to be the Hickman Mills School. I can't think of the name of it right now, but quickly I'll tell you that she saw he had a gun. He went into the same classroom she went into. She was able to text her mother, and her mother immediately called me, and I went and picked her up. So without the cell phone, we couldn't have done that.
Yep. Okay. Tremise, what do you think?
That is well, so I have a teenager myself, and oh, how that cell phone is such a distraction, but it's going to take parents. It's going to take the parents' help. Teachers can't do it all by themselves. Staff can't do it. The yonder bags is a great idea, but now the kids are so advanced. They know how to get into those yonder bags, take the phones out, they hide them in their pockets. Um, it's a distraction because they're on social media a lot, and that social media causes a lot of violence in the school, a lot of recorded fights, and it's a good and it's a bad thing because we see a lot of things happening in school with active shooters. We want our kids to be able to contact us immediately. But then we look back at the social media, that all the videos they're looking at during school, calling people to the school, things like that is dangerous. And so as parents, I think we have to work hand in hand with the teachers to figure out what can we do in order for our child to still be safe, and we feel for them be safe at school with the cell phone, but eliminate the distractions on the cell phone. I have a suggestion because as a parent, I share my iCloud with my son. So every text message, every phone call, I see and I monitor. So if he makes a text at school, which he tried to, and I text back, "Hey, are we learning?" So all the kids, they don't know. I can see every text message, every phone call that's made. I can get in those messages, and sometimes I do. I chat with his little friends when he don't know it, like, "Have a good day."
Thanks very much. Clifford, you get to solve the problem here at the end.
Okay, so I look at the iPads and everything. I understand that that's the way we're moving now in classes. But I would like to see also followed up with some reading, writing, and arithmetic. Let's get into some books also. Let's break down these contents without these iPads. Let's see what you're really learning. Let's see if the teacher is really teaching. Because if I'm learning from the iPad, I should be able to transmit that on over to a book, whereas I can go ahead and talk in front of the classroom without saying the, the, and all that. We should be able to read clearly. We should be able to add clearly. And with our science, we should be able to do some type of experiment. With the cell phones, they are a distraction. this is where your board is. If you have a real board, they know that they have to make policies and procedures. So therefore, I see our other colleagues in different, like Lee Summit, they're doing it. They have no problem. It's what you want to do. If you want to make your district great, you're gonna do what it takes to make it great. You're not gonna sit up here and make excuses year in and year out why you did do this, why you did do that. If we're doing our job, our students will be safe when they come in through those doors. We won't have people acting a clown. We won't have officers not doing their jobs. We will have them doing what they're supposed to. We would have principals doing their jobs, which is watching their schools and making sure that everything is going smooth and properly. So therefore, if the board makes the policies and procedures and enforce them, you won't have no problem.
Thank you. Next question. Matter of curriculum. And we'll start with Beth on this. What's your stance regarding the funding levels for arts, music, and sports programs?
Oh, I don't think you can have public education without having art, sports, and music. Music, if a child is in music, that helps them learn. It is really good for them to be in a music program. And athletics gives them exercise and self-confidence. Art, music, and what was the art,
Sports.
music, and athletic art. Art is like music. You know, some kids would rather be artsy and do the drawing and the artwork rather than play a musical instrument. But I believe both of those are very important. My mother made me take piano lessons for 9 years. Did I always enjoy my piano lessons or practicing? Heck no, I didn't. But did it really help me? It did help me in my career because my brain was taught to work on both sides, left hand and right hand. So I can run a computer keyboard right hand and a calculator left hand because my brain was trained from first grade through the 9th grade with piano lessons. So I feel like that every student should have that opportunity. And I'm happy to say that Hickman Mills is bringing back band and orchestra, in the elementary schools so that we can build up the high school programs.
Thanks very much. Clifford, what do you think?
Rephrase, could you say the question again?
Yeah. What is your stance regarding funding for arts, music, and sports programs?
All those programs go hand in hand. If they are cut, it would be really it'd be terrible. You would see a lot of kids, they already are bored when they're going to school, but just think if you cut music, you cut sports, and you cut arts, what else is it left? They don't go to gym like they used to. Gym used to be the most fun thing that everybody would want to skip and go to. Nowadays, you don't even see that. They don't even want to dress out for gym. There's no structure in the gym. There's nothing that makes them really want to come. So just to cut, if they cut those fundings, uh, that would be really terrible. You think students are having problems now? They're really going to have a lot of problems. So therefore, I would ask that everyone that is in our community make sure that that's not being done by writing down there to Jeff City, and also when the Board of Education, they need to make sure that oh Lord, I can't think of the thing. The person that basically is the that does the oh Lord, I can't get his name. Oh well. I can't say the thing, so I'm not even gonna bring it up. But this person basically what they are is responsible for is to make sure that they act on your behalf. I know everybody knows the meaning, so I do know what it is, but I just can't say the name of it.
Ombudsman.
No, not ombudsman. It's
Oh,
the person that goes down and who acts on your behalf when they're down there, and you pay them for that. So I can't think of what
lobbyist.
lobbyist. There you go.
Vanessa, what do you think about these the funding of these three elements?
Those, I think that there is no question that we must keep sports and music. I mean, you know, band is to me very important. I was in the band when I was a kid in school. I didn't play an instrument, I was a majorette. But it just shows you there's something in there for everyone. And then when it comes to sports, I love track. I love to run track, and that And just like the boys like football or basketball, I like volleyball and the high beams and what have you. The thing is that it gives children something to work for, towards. You have to have good grades in order to be on some of these teams, or well, to be on the track team, to be on, I mean, certain things. And I mean, the children will work extra hard just so they can be on these teams. There is no way we're going to take these things away. And besides that, it works their mind. You can't play football without learning a lot of patterns. You can't be in the band without learning music, and so forth. So, yes, we need those three elements in our schools, definitely.
Thank you. Tremise, you get the final word.
I agree with Mr. Reagan. It does all work hand in hand. It all works together. Our children don't have nothing to do here in the community as we speak right now. So those are like their outlets. Those are where they go to have fun, sports. They look forward to doing those things because there's nothing for them to do here. So without those, just think what will they do after school? There's nothing to do here in the community, but they'll probably get themselves in a lot of trouble. And a lot of kids just look forward to music and art and especially sports. How many kids play sports after school? I look at Ruskin, they're all on the fields. That's something they look forward to other than these video games. But yes, I really agree. They need to keep those things here for us.
Great. Well, you get to stay talking for the next question. And this one is a similar line. Do you support expanding career and technical education programs?
Yes, I do. I think technology rules the world, but I have seen such a major improvement here in the district with the superintendent and some of the things that he has installed. And I like the new World Learning Center. I got to actually see that God, what was it? They have, I think it's a podcast. Someone was telling me about this, and it was just 2 days ago. And I happened to just go over there for, I wanted to get some coffee. And I was like, wow. I was like, they have a little podcast and they were showing me a tour. And I was so excited and thinking in my head in advance, like, I got to get my son over here. I got to get my son to do this. And I was just so amazed at seeing the new technology things that we have for our students that we didn't have when I started on the board in 2019. Some of these things we see now are amazing. And I couldn't give more credit to the superintendent because without him, we wouldn't have these things. So I am definitely excited and I want the expansion of technology. I think it's a real big benefit for our students.
Vanessa, what do you think about expanding career and tech education?
I think expanding technology is phenomenal. Oh, I mean, I'm definitely a supporter of that. And the New World Center, I agree, is a great product. And but I do have to admit that that center has been coming a long time before the superintendent came. Um, Someone may argue with against me on that one, but I do read the papers and the internet. But nevertheless, um, that's just how I feel about the overall World Center and how it and the school board, how it created the and how they've given to the New World Center. I think the school board has a long way to go, and so does the superintendent, and so does the New World Center. Even though it's good, it can be great.
Clifford, your thoughts?
One more time with the question.
Yes, sir. Do you support expanding career and technical education programs?
Yes, I do. Technology is the way that the world is going right now. As you know, we have AI and the rest of things. So therefore, I do feel that it needs to be expanded. I am so glad we finally have got the new World Center or thing over there for the kids, the World Learning System. We had talked about that when we was on the board, giving the kids something else. Why should we go over to Lee Summit and Raytown when we could have built our own? And I'm so glad they finally listened. They finally have that program over there. So therefore, our students, they don't have to bus out no more. We can keep our funds right here in the Hickman Middle School District. I would like to see more, even though you're doing the technology, but let's don't forget about the plumbing. Let's don't forget about electricals, because you can make a lot of money in plumbing. You can also make a lot of money in being an electrician. So I would like to also look at all that being expanded. Maybe hooking up with Evergy, maybe hooking up with the gas company, having them come in and do more classes with the teachers, because that's how they did it. And we went to New Orleans before, and we had a chance to see how their center looked, just like the one that Hickman has done. And what they would do is they would bring the workers to work along with the teacher to give the students all the knowledge that they needed.
Thank you. Thank you. Beth, you're got the last thoughts on this one.
Okay. In Kansas City, Missouri, we're blessed. We have so many union apprenticeship programs here that our students can take advantage of. IBW 124, and the plumbers are right down the street from the Real World Learning Center. Anyway, when I first got on the board, because I have a union background, I visited the labor community and told them that they needed to get involved in Hickman Mills. And so we had a senior career day at Ruskin, and I sent them an email. I told them they better suit up and show up, and they did. And I got to meet a young man that talked to IBEW 124, and he's in their apprenticeship program. And when he gets done, he wants to move to Florida and be an electrician. But he was just so excited about the program. But they really want to get involved with our children in middle school, because the kids need to know what they need to take in high school in order to qualify for these apprenticeship programs. And I think that's what the Real World Learning Center is all about. It's not about, oh, you have to go to college, but it's about opening up the world and showing them hundreds of different possibilities that they might never have been exposed to or knew anything about or been interested in.
Great. Thank you. Vanessa, we're going to start you on the next question. How do you plan to support clubs and organizations that promote leadership and teamwork?
Well, I think that it's a great thing to have these clubs that like the leadership program. I have children of my own that were in leadership programs, and you mean like student councils, and I've always taught them to be a leader, not a follower. So leadership programs to me are vital for children, period. How would I support them? I would support them
This would be
wholeheartedly.
as a board member, right?
As a board member, I'd support them wholeheartedly. I really would. I'd get behind these, and actually even possibly come up with more programs or fine tuning the ones that we have. So,
okay. Cliff, what do you think about the role of clubs and organizations in the school environment?
You said me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I support them. Matter of fact, before we do, I would make sure we do our homework and making sure that we do our screenings and making sure that we don't just bring any and everyone into the district, because that makes it a liability. So that's the first thing. As a board member, I would make sure that we all know what we're getting into before we bring anyone in. As we see, we're in the news already for bringing people in, and then we cut them, but we didn't read the fine print. So therefore, as a board member, you need to be knowing what's going on with the policies. You need to look at those contracts, Every board member should know what's going on in this district. It's not just the superintendent is the employee of the board, not the other way around. The board doesn't work for the superintendent. The superintendent works for the Board of Education. The Board of Education is supposed to watch over the district. So therefore, if you're not looking at everything with a fine tooth, therefore that's how things are getting admitted. So therefore, that's the first thing when you are supporting a leadership or any type of program that comes in the district, and then make sure that we also put it out there with the community, making sure that, hey, this is some of the things that we have. We welcome you all to give us some feedback, but also the board needs to know who are these little groups that they always go out and get. When I was on the board, I never knew who all these little groups were, so I would like to see that also happen.
Thanks very much. Beth, to you, and I'm thinking these are clubs within the school formed of students is how I took this question to mean, but I might be misreading it.
Okay.
Right. And as far as leadership go, I don't know about any like leadership clubs, but classes. At the Ruskin High School, there's a leadership class. And then over at the Real World Learning Center, they have the core group. And they are students that are in leadership and they're a think tank. And I've been working directly with the students at core to try to find out. Tremise was talking a little bit about this before, about how the kids in our community have nothing to do. And Kansas City, Missouri government has not supported our community in giving us things to do. Parks and Rec has done great things at other community centers, but they rent ours out to Honeywell for basketball and volleyball. Our children do not even know where the community center is. So we were talking about that with the core group, and they were telling me what they wanted in the community. And so I have provided them with the email addresses and phone numbers of the mayor and the city council members. And they are doing a letter writing campaign to let the city government know what we need in our community for the youth in our community. That's leadership. And Kim Sixta at Ruskin High School, she does things like that with her students too, and gets them involved in community things so that they know about leadership.
Thank you. Tremise, your thought, the question was stated as, how do you plan to support clubs and organizations that promote leadership and teamwork?
As a board member, I feel I can kind of backpedal off Mr. Reagan. It it would be better if we can communicate more, if we know a little bit more, did our homework a little bit more about the leadership clubs and all these different types of clubs we have. Because, like you said, we get these clubs, these leaderships, different activities, and we don't know anything about them. So if they would at least give us a little bit more information about what these type of clubs are, who's the leadership, then we're able to support even more. So without the information given to us, we have no knowledge of what they're doing, what great things are happening. It's just we need to know more information in order to support more and be able to kind of show the community what great things are happening at the schools.
Thank you. Next question, Beth, you get to start. How will you promote an inclusive and welcoming environment for all students?
Well, I think I do that through my community engagement work. And I carry that over to being on the school board. I want our community to be a safe and inclusive community for everyone. And I've written grants to help our community. And currently I'm working with 2 ministers in the community, and we're writing more grants in order to have like events at the parks or block parties, because we want to do more about making the community into a community instead of people just hanging out in their own house and not having community things to do together and meet each other. And that way parents would know each other, grandparents would know each other, kids would know each other, and we would be a stronger community, and we would have a stronger voice in the city and, even with the school district.
Very good. Vanessa, your thoughts on making an inclusive environment, welcoming environment?
Well, as president of my homeowners association, I get people together quite frequently. It used to be monthly, but now anymore. Now that the winter is over with, we will be monthly again. But I believe that we have to have like in a community like mine, we have block captains, and the block captains let everyone know what's going on that block, and then we come together and we have our monthly meetings, and we invite the entire community to our meetings. We don't, just Avalon View. We invite all the communities to our meetings, and I think when it comes to the children, we'll do the same thing. I think that we'll invite all the parents to come to community meetings. Or am I misinterpreting the question?
Well,
Because
I think it's about creating a welcoming and inclusive environment for students at school.
well, I feel like if we invite all the parents to come to the schools, we can do that. I know I'm out of time. I misread the question.
Okay. Tremise, your thoughts?
I think I like how Miss Beth said it. We need more things that involved. Like I see pep rallies and Grandview's district. They have pep rallies. Oh, it was just amazing. They had the little kids from the little kids in pre-K got to stand along the sidewalks and watch the floats with the high school students. It was a whole community. Parents was out there. I feel like we're missing some of those pieces that gets the parents involved, the students involved. I would like to see a big community block party. So we do have back to school rallies every year when we do back to school, but I would like to see something a little bit different. We do have things on like around Christmas, but like a community block party where everybody comes as one and then communicate. You start talking, socializing, everyone's meeting people. Kids see each other, but as kids are seeing each other, they're introducing the parents to each other as well. And that was what brings the community together, and parents start working hand in hand with their children. And I really feel like we need to push a little bit more with having community engagement because it's really going to help our kids. It really will.
Thank you. Clifford, what are your views?
Are you saying this as a board member, or are you just saying this as,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we're
that's what
addressing
I'm
you
trying
as
to get.
potential board members, and so
Okay.
what would you do as a board member to promote these things?
I would like to see the homecoming parade come back. I've been pushing for that since I was on the board. I don't know why we gave that up. I know that you have to get licenses and everything, but I had called down there before, and I don't know if it's not the want to or not. But I think that would be also great. Also, as a board member, I would like to see a town hall meeting. I have yet to see one where we're sitting down talking to the superintendent as the community and the board members are out there talking also. Another thing I would like to see is board members having maybe coffee and donuts, with the community. Bring them out. Let's talk about it. Let's see where we can improve. How can we get on one accord? A lot of these things that we've been talking about, a lot of things could be solved if we just bring out our community. But when you try to exercise the community, have them fill out some type of little piece of paper, and then we got to screen what you're gonna say at the board meetings. That's not helping the community, and that's not right. Let's go back to the way it used to be. Audience comments at the beginning, audience comments at the end. So I would like to see that as a board member and bring that to the colleagues. Another thing that I would like to see with the community as far as I would like to also see board members being present at games, plays, whatever it might be. I know when I was on the board, I used to go to funerals. I used to do a lot of things that I would never ever talk about, but I would like to see more of that with the board members.
Thanks. Guess what? I'm out of questions. So it's time for closing statements. And the order we're going to take these in is a little different than we started. So Tremise, you get the honors of kicking us off for 2 minutes of closing statement.
Um, I really feel that if I was elected to be on the school board, it will definitely mean change. I would love to be able to work with the superintendent hand in hand to be able to get us to full accreditation that we deserve. I love my community. I live here in the community. My son loves this community. He's only been here. This is all we know is Hickman Mills. And I really feel the second time around, I will be able to do more and be a part of some of those great changes that the superintendent has done. And so I really feel like I really deserve this opportunity. And I really am so anxious and I'm happy and ready to be back on the board to make some more improvement and to do some more great things for Hickman Mills that we've been doing.
Thanks. Beth, your closing comments?
Okay, well, I would like to be reelected to the school board because I feel like a lot of good things have been done and that we can do a lot more. And I get kind of discouraged by negative comments because we have such Hickman Mills community and school district have such a bad reputation, but some of that we bring upon ourselves. When we were in Jefferson City for the State Board of Education hearing, when the hearing was over, the chairperson of DESE and of Missouri School Board Association came up to speak to the board members and the superintendent. Our superintendent was invited to come to some other districts who have no accreditation. We are provisionally accredited. They invited him to come to some of those other districts to tell them what we are doing in Hickman Mills that's working, because our students are improving and we need to talk about that. We need to shout it from the rooftops. We need to talk about the good things and not always harp on the negative things all the time. Our district does math nights. They've taken students and parents to the grocery store and had a scavenger hunt. They're looking for innovative and creative ways to get our parents and students excited about education and improve their reading and math scores and what they know and don't know. And that's what we need to talk about as board members. We need to talk about the good things. So our teachers and our staff and our kids and our parents feel good about their community and their school district and not always feel like that it's a bad thing that they live in Hickman Mills and that their kids go to the Hickman Mills schools. And that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Reagan, your 2 minutes of great comments about how you'd close this up and be a board member.
Yes, sir. When you elect me as a board member on Tuesday, April the 8th, you're going to get a strong advocate for your students, your teachers, and the community. I'm going to strive best to bring back the community relationships that have been broken. I'm going to also try to work with the rest of the colleagues to mend our relationship with the Department of Education so that therefore maybe they will have grace and mercy as they have had up on us for the past 20 years without the accreditation that we don't. Yeah, we have provisional. Yes, but that's not accreditation. We have been through the ups, we've been through the downs, but we need to also get that accreditation. That's what's going to bring the students. That's what's going to make your money go up with your fund balances, because the more students you have, the more money that you can get from the state. And the way that things are going right now, we need to make sure that we get that accreditation. No more provisional. Stop listening to these things of talking about the goods and the bad. As we see, we've been in the news too much because we have not been good stewards of our money. So in electing me, I'm not going to go along with the hush hush and be quiet and none of that. I'm going to be strong. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna be able to look at these schools, go in these schools, and talk to our teachers, see what we can do better. Talk to our students, see what we can do for them, and how we can help bring the resources that they need. Stop sitting in the boardroom so that therefore you're not doing anything, and come to the meetings. You are elected official. Your job is to come to the meetings, not be on Skype every day. That is your job. You took the oath to be there, not to sit at home. Also, when we're working with the rest of the colleagues, making sure that they know policies and procedures. If you don't know your policy and procedures, you can't run anything. And the way that some of these board members have been acting and the way that we have been out in the news, they're not qualified. And I'm going to say that right now. I know that I'm qualified. I know that I'm the best candidate. So therefore, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Vanessa, you get to wrap it up.
Well, I'm looking for your vote on April 8th. My deal is this. I've gone to the school boards for years and years. And just lately, the last few school boards that I've gone to have been cold. They would not let me speak. And I want, like Mr. Reagan said, let's bring the old school boards back, where you could speak for a few minutes before the meeting begins and a few minutes when the meeting is over. The community should not be shut out like that. We have no idea what the school board is doing. I mean, I go to the meetings and I don't know what the school board is doing, except they argue in front of people. And you can cut the negativity in the air with a knife. And I told the president that. And I also feel as though we need to bring back transparency when it comes to our dollars and cents, where the taxpayers are paying all these taxes and we have no idea where the money is going. I have not known where the money is going since Dr. Carpenter was the superintendent. He had pie charts. He put it out there so that anyone and everyone could know exactly where your dollars and cents are going. And when I'm elected, you'll know where your property taxes are going. And I feel that is due to you. It's not something that the school board owes that to you. And the school board needs to be more positive with the community.
Well, thanks very much. I'm going to turn this back over to Anitra. I really appreciate all your comments. I'm sorry we had a hard time with our fifth candidate, but I enjoyed hearing all of your remarks, and I know you're all very eager and sincere to take on this role. So Anitra, over to you.
Thank you, audience, for your interest in the April 8th election. A recording of this forum will be available on the League's website, lwvkc.org. Please take a moment to share our forums via your Facebook, Nextdoor, and other social media channels. And remember, for voting and candidate information, visit lwvkc.org and vote411.org. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you all.